Hey everybody, Jay and Nick. Welcome to Lemon's World. We're going to talk about Team Hesh's 1982 Ford Escort. Why? Good question. First of all, let me say, nobody ever said simplify, then add more metal. Except possibly these guys.
Now, when Jay says add metal, he means add metal. Before we get too far into the car, there really isn't much to get into, which is really why we love this car. But before we do all of that, we gotta talk about heshers. You've seen them around, maybe didn't know that they had a name, but basically they're super into 80s heavy metal and the culture around it. They've got the denim jacket, they've got the patches, they've got the metal band t-shirt, and they've got the long hair. It's a whole package.
Unsurprisingly, Team Captain Chris, he is a hesher, and he set out, in his words, to win first place with a car he could afford, powered by hot dogs, beer, high fives, metal, and a dream.
And the car? It's a nearly stock base model 82 Ford Escort, exactly of the sort that was being driven by heshers to the lounge acts, or the Rathskeller circa 91, to catch Man-O-War.
Now this straight up Heshcourt, it was on eBay, it was no sale. Chris picked it up for $600, drove his tow van out to Massachusetts, picked it up, was driving it back to Pennsylvania, because of course Pennsylvania. One of the calipers on his van freezes up and starts smoking. So now he's like dealing with these mechanics in rural Pennsylvania. They're fixing his tow van, admiring his Escort, and he decides, these are awesome guys, I'm gonna tip them with 5 beers from my 6-pack. If there is anything more hesher than tipping your tow van mechanics with 5 beers from your 6-pack, I do not know what it is.
Now, when was all of this happening? Well, it was about 3 weeks before their very first Lemons race at Thompson. Well, they scrambled to finish the roll cage and all the other required stuff, got there, put it on track, and it looked amazing. Now, after that race, Chris knew that he was going to need spares for his Heshcourt, so he created this online network of people that had these parts. And to facilitate that, he did what anyone sane would do.
You mean he created his own dedicated UPS cargo shipping account?
Yes, and by that, I mean he flew to Sheboygan, rented a U-Haul, collected up all of the 80s Ford Escort parts you never knew existed on his way while he drove back to Boston.
Stuffed into the back of that hella heshy U-Haul cube van, all of a sudden there's a couple of big block 1.9 Escort motors. There's the ultra rare 2-year only 1.6 liter turbo Escort GT motor, blown up of course. He's going to rebuild that soon. Can't wait for that. It's going to go great. But in the meantime, they're just going to go, for displacement with the 1.9.
Yeah, Chris's logic is that the engine is retro and simple and understandable, and maybe more importantly, they built 4 million of them, so while you completely ruin 5 blocks while you're learning to work on it, there's many more where that came from.
The only other mods are 16-inch Focus wheels with the same wacky-ass 4-on-108 bolt pattern. They have some Kmart fog lights that he didn't buy. They were in a friend's basement because hesher. And for a while, they were running the choke manually through the heater slider on the dash. That's it. Stock suspension, stock brakes, stock everything else. Oh, 4-speed. Stock 4-speed.
The performance is maybe what you'd expect, which is to say unpredictable and very shaky past 70 miles an hour, but it looks totally sweet.
Besides the eventual turbo swap, what does Chris think the future holds for this team? Well, he says, better brakes, better tires, more power, and more heshers.
This thing's gonna dominate!
Every second you don't subscribe or watch one of these videos, another Vega is sent to the crusher. Won't you help us save Classic?